on Mountain News this morning. A massive fire has destroyed a century-old church here in Kentucky. And schools throughout eastern Kentucky have already used some of their snow days for the year, much earlier than some may have anticipated.
Dedicated to eastern and southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning, Mountain family. I'm Neely Green here with you on this Thursday, November 13th. The time is now 6:30, excuse me. Let's check in with meteorologist Megan Dusmel for a look at your forecast this morning.
Don't send us back an hour. I don't need to go back to 5:30.
Yeah, it's been a morning.
It's been a morning, and it's going to feel like that as you leave the door, too. It's definitely a colder day. I mean, we're talking 30s and 40s. Normally this time of year, we are sitting in the upper 30s, so for some folks, it's a little bit warmer. But take a look towards Whitesburg. We're at that freezing mark, 32. It's 33 in London and 31 in Manchester. But by the time we head into the afternoon, don't worry, everyone will be seeing some slightly above average temperatures in the upper 50s and low 60s. So it's not going to be too bad of a day at all, especially with the sunshine that'll join us later on today. A little bit of some mostly sunny skies as that sun starts to rise here in about less than half an hour. But in terms of when we're looking at those warmest temperatures, well, you can keep your eyes out for 3 p.m. Neely.
Megan, thank you. Yesterday, folks in Hazard had the opportunity for some free treats. Bluegrass Care Navigators hosted a coffee and conversations event at the Hazard Coffee Company from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. I was there to join some of those conversations. Hot sips and cool discussions. Bluegrass Care Navigators hosted a coffee and conversations event on Wednesday at the Hazard Coffee Company.
We're talking about Bluegrass Care Navigators, the care that we provide, answering questions, kind of debunking some myths, talking about the stigmas that may surround hospice.
Folks could order a coffee of their choice and chat with a member of the Bluegrass Care Navigators team. Not only could folks get a free coffee, but also a free vaccination.
We also have ARH here, who is a wonderful community partner of theirs, and they're providing free vaccinations during the time that we're providing our coffees as well.
Philanthropy coordinator Cheyenne Price says they have stayed busy having those important conversations.
There are so many people coming in and talking to us about our services. There has not been any downtime. There's always a line out the door.
Price says it's great to have events like this one to strengthen the relationship between organizations and the community.
Community fuels better outcomes. The more that we are talking to our people that we are surrounded by every day and teaching them about what we do, who we are, the services that we can offer, the better that they trust us.
The event is hosted in honor of National Hospice and Palliative Care Month. For more information about Bluegrass Care Navigators, you can visit this story on our website, WYMT.com. And the search continues for missing minor out of Nicholas County, West Virginia. Governor Patrick Morsey says while the search is on its 6th day, it remains a rescue mission and draining the water is the top priority. The situation happened last Saturday when crews struck an unknown pocket of water that allowed water to quickly rush into the section where miners were working. The governor says there is still hope to find the missing miner alive. A man was arrested after threatening to attack officers with a sword in Bourbon County. Police responded to the incident Tuesday. They say Justin Wade reportedly threatened his mother with a knife. After police got to the scene, they say he threatened to kill officers with a sword and also threatened to blow up the house before retreating back into the basement. He was eventually tased before being taken into custody. A massive fire has destroyed a century-old church here in Kentucky. Crews were called to Union Ridge Community Church in Muhlenberg County. When they arrived, the church was full of flames. The pastor says strong winds made it tough for crews to put the fire out because it kept reigniting. The pastor says that church was built in 1889. He says it was vacant for about a decade until he started his congregation earlier this year, moving into the church only 3 months ago.
The church is the people, and we're going to move forward. We're going to continue to serve God, continue to tell people the truth, and if we have to do it in this parking lot, we will.
He says the congregation will move into the building behind the church, which only received minor damage. A Rockcastle man arrested for neglect of his mother waived his right to a preliminary hearing through his attorney. According to a criminal complaint, 38-year-old Jeremy Cook said he was the sole caretaker for his mother. She was taken to the hospital after Cook reported she was suffering from shortness of breath. Investigators say the mother was found sitting in a reclining chair that she said she had been in for 2 months. She was found with several wounds on her. His bond was increased to $75,000, and he is not allowed to contact his mother as part of his bail conditions. Now an update on a story we first brought to you Tuesday. Brian Mandel was brought to Louisville and was in court yesterday. He faces 6 counts of terroristic threatening after he was accused of making threats towards Louisville football coach Jeff Brom and his family. Statements were reportedly targeted towards Brom as well as his wife and kids, and his brother and offensive coordinator Brian and quarterback Miles Miller Moss. The judge set Mandel's bond to $100,000. The Kentucky woman who started a TikTok trend to test to see if churches would give to a needy mother and her baby is sharing more of her story. She says many of the churches refused her request, but a Somerset pastor said yes. The story went viral. WYMT's Phil Pendleton spoke to Nicali Monroe about the gift that keeps on giving.
And a lot of them still just said no.
Nicali Monroe says her social media experiment was met with disappointment initially.
But those mega ones, yeah, I got hung up on twice.
Church after church refused her request to help a baby with formula, but she says Johnny Dunbar at Heritage Hope Church of God was different.
He honestly, you could tell he cared. Like, it wasn't one of those like, we'll see what we can do, or I'll try to call somebody. Like, he actually was like, oh, your baby's starving. We need to feed that baby.
She says her experiment had her going from 30 followers to millions. Many saw and shared, and the end result was people all over the world flooding the Somerset Church with donations.
Amazing. Like, people wanted to donate to the ones that said yes because they knew that those churches would help.
Johnny Dunbar, the pastor here, tells me that he still wants to keep the amount of donations they have received anonymous, but again, he says it is very substantial, and that money and that support continues to come in. All of it, he says, will be used to help other people with their various ministries. Dunbar says donations are one thing, but people coming back to church has been another.
I mean, I was one of those, like, I haven't been to church in years, and now I went to his church service, and I'm going to go to the one in Jamestown, and I'm going to go to the mosque in North Carolina.
So much help from a simple yes.
No, I'm so happy about everybody that's been blessed through this and all the lives that it's changed and the impact that it's.
In Pulaski County, Phil Pendleton, WKYT.
Monroe says she believes the story shows how even organizations that help people sometimes need help themselves. As government food program uncertainty continues, local leaders are working to make sure no child goes hungry. In Fayette County, District 8 Council member Amy Beasley and her team are taking action by providing a food drive this weekend. This Saturday, the parking lot at the Suno Kroger will have a bus for folks to drop off their food donations. Then the food will be taken to nearby schools.
The holidays, it's almost Thanksgiving, and they thought they were going to have SNAP benefits, and they don't. It's going to be game-changing for some of them, especially like sometimes the parents will not eat so that the kids can eat, but if you have a little extra, then they'll be able to have dinner as well.
Some of the most needed items on the list are canned foods, soups and pastas, diapers, and hygiene products. Schools throughout eastern Kentucky have already used some of their snow days for the year, much earlier than some may have anticipated. The Perry County School District is preparing for the season of using their NTI or non-traditional instruction and traditional snow days. Officials say on average classes are canceled approximately 20 days per year due to inclement weather.
Because we know the impact that it makes. It's not an easy decision. You got to find who's going to babysit the kids. Are they going to have school? Are they not going to have school? All of those factor in. And so we'll try to stick with the same plan, trying to make the call as early as we possibly can to let people know. But there are going to be snow days. If
more than 10 days are used, additional closings may have to be made up for later in the year. Eastern Kentucky got its first real taste of winter with snowflakes falling and ice-cold temperatures. As the colder months become more of a reality, it is important to keep in mind the best ways to protect our pets during the winter season. Outdoor pets can especially suffer during the colder weather months, so providing them with adequate shelter to help them beat the cold is crucial.
You want to make sure that your animal has shelter, especially if it's an outdoor animal. You want to make sure that it has some sort of shelter that's up, raised off of the ground so that they don't have to walk through any sort of mud or water. And you want to have some sort of insulation, generally something like straw that's inside. You don't really want bedding or, fabric, anything like that, because once it gets wet, then it actually is working against you and it can make the animal even colder.
Keeping animals in sheds or garages may help to get them out of the elements, but can also provide dangers by themselves. So make sure to keep chemicals like antifreeze, which has a sweet taste to our furry friends, out of their reach. Powell County Schools is using money made from the nickel tax to help rebuild a roof on its high school. According to the school's social media, the roof has several leaks in several parts across the building. The school plans to replace a middle school roof as well. The tax was approved back in August. Property owners are paying 5 cents for every $100 of assessed property value. In return, the state funds 9 cents per $100.
We're looking at a little bit of clouds as you are starting off your day. However, going through the next couple hours, the cloud cover will be dissipating, leading to some sunnier skies as we're heading into the afternoon. Now, before we get there, though, you have to deal with just a little bit of some of those cooler temperatures and a mixture of the 30s and the 40s. It will be colder for our more southern counties as you're starting off the day, seeing some low 30s. But our more northern counties instead are sitting in the mid 40s, 45 degrees as you're heading towards Prestonsburg and Pikeville. Now, in terms of what we're looking at throughout the day, again, a mixture of those 30s and 40s on the way to school with a little bit of clouds. But by the time you're heading home, expect those upper 50s and low 60s with mostly sunny to sunny skies. Neely.
All right, Megan, thank you. And thank you for joining us. The time is now 6:42. Still to come on Mountain News this morning, how a tiny device is doing big work for babies' brains. We bring you new research designed to give newborns a healthier start.